Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and Merry Christmas. And today we've been sent a kind of Christmas message by Carlos Espinosa from Mexico City. And he says, thanks very much for all the videos. He's been trying out various variants and he's created his own killer sandwich Sudoku. So he'd be interested if we could give it a little go, as he says. And it's shaped a bit like a Christmas tree, as you can see, in that some of the regions and actually some of the non-regions have been coloured here. So the way to look at it, I think, is that there's one gold region, several white regions, a few that were sort of reddish. I've given them a brown colour so we can see what we're typing, and some grey. So just gonna plunge in and give it a go. I haven't tried it at all. Let's have a look at how we go. You can play this yourself. It's in our software. The link's below the video. Please do give it a go. And remember that the rules of Killer Sudoku are that within the cages, the numbers in the cage can't repeat and add up to the sum given, and the numbers outside the grid for the sandwich Sudoku rules are the total of numbers between the 1 and 9 in that row or column. So let's have a go, as I say, and that's always a useful place to start in a sandwich. We've got a sum of 35 here. That's the maximum that can be between 1 and 9. So in this case, the 1 and 9 must be on the absolute perimeter. Now, we've also got a 0 here in the bottom row, so that 1 or 9 must be right next to the other 1 or 9. Now that's a bit difficult for me to display. I'd normally be highlighting the cells that couldn't contain 1s or 9s, but given the highlighting in the grid, that might not be the best way to go forward here. So I'll leave those for a moment, but we'll be aware that there's a 1 or a 9 next to this 1 or 9. Now, I do also see that 4 of the cages in these bottom corner cells fill all but one cell of the box. So 16, 29, 38, 44. The other one must be 1 because of the rule of 45, which works on how the numbers from 1 to 9 add up. So over this side, these 4 add up to 26, 34, 37. That must be an 8. Now that's useful because there's 2 13 cages in this box, so they have to be the numbers 9, 4 and 6, 7 in some pair. There's obviously a 2 and a 1 there in the 3 cage, and 3 and 5. Now we know that whether this is 1 or 2 because there's a 1, 9 here, and there's a 1 or a 9 next to it for that 0. So this has to be the 2. Now, this is 9 and 7. Same rule applies. 2 of these are 1 and 9, so one of them is a 9. So that must be a 7 at the bottom. We've used 7 and 9. These 2 must be 8 and 5. That makes these 2 4 and 2 because 5 and 1 have gone. There's a 3, 6 pair there. That decides that this one is 4 and 9, and this cage is 6 and 7. The 5, 8 has been resolved actually because there's a 5 in one of those 2. And now these 3 cells must be 1, 6, and 9 in some order. Now 28 is quite a big number. That won't allow a 1 here. So 14, there are other possibilities. 2, 5 and 7 up here, and again I don't think we can have a 2 in a 28 cage. And in this row we've got 3, 8 and 4. I don't think we can have a 3 in a 28 cage either. If it was a 4 it would have to be 9, 8 and 7. That is possible. Okay. So that's a decent start. Now, can we use the sandwich numbers at the top? Yes, we can. This 17, there has to be a total of 17 between the 1 and 9 in this column. So the 9 can't be next to the 1. 17's quite big, though. Another 13 could be those 2. 9 is either here or here, I think. Not sure which. Don't think it can be all the way up here, as that wouldn't leave enough for the numbers outside it. Now 23 here, that must be at least 4 cells. One must be near the top. And we've that 19 didn't have a clue. In fact, it would have been 0 if we'd been given one. What else can we see? Oh, we've got a 1 or 9 up here and a 7 here. So could be any of these 4 cells. The other 1 or 9 can't be this one. So one of these 3 could be here. I mean, it's looking like it could easily be this one, but I don't think we can be... Ah, yes, if this was 23 with the 1 up here, there'd be 12 outside it, 7 and 5. That is quite likely. Certainly not certain yet, though, so I might hold my horses a bit there. Now, where else can we go? Oh, this 6. That's a 1, 2, and 3, and we've got a 1 in this column already. So 1 must go there. That's 2 and 3. That 1 has resolved whether this is a 9 or a 1. That's useful. So we get 9 there, 1 there. This can't be 1. Interesting. That can't be 1. So the 1 in column 2 must now be here. And that's exactly what we thought. These 2 add up to 7. But these 2 add up to 12, so they're 7 and 5. So we've got this whole bottom left box done now, which is nice, just aesthetically, if nothing else. Now these 2 add up to 7, but look, we've got a 1 here and a 1 here. One of these must be a 1. And in both cases for this column, there's 0 gap between them. Between the 1 and the 9. Yeah, that's interesting. Now, that means if this 1 had a 9 next to it, beneath it, then the other 1 and 9, because we've had a 1 and 9 in this box down here, if, say, those 2 were 1 and 9, the other 1 and 9 would have to be split between the 2 boxes as well to get 1 in each of them. So that would make all these 4 1 and 9, and that wouldn't allow this to be, either of these 2 cells to be a 9, because one of these would have to be 1 and 9, these would have to be 1 and 9. So what I've learned from that, it's a little convoluted that, I'm sorry, but what I've learned from that is that the 1 and 9s given by these 2 zeros must be in separate boxes, and that means the 9 that goes with this 1 must be above it. Now we can tell which one it is because of this 3 clue. So in fact that's 3, that's 9, that's 2, the 1 goes with the 9, we can get rid of that 9 and 1. 9 and 1 in this, for this 0, come in this box. So somewhere amongst there is 1 and 9. Obviously the 1's not in the 15 cage. In fact, this must be 6 or 7, and this must be 8 or 9. I'm not immediately sure which way round. Now, we don't get clues in rows 3 and 4. How about this 26 cage? That could be... Could it have a 2 in it? Yes, it could. Could be 9, 8, 7, 2. I was just wondering if we could rule the 2 out of it. That would be useful. It would put 2 here because of this 2. But we can't quite. If it was 9, 8, 7, 2, that would be 2. This would be 5. Yeah, these 2 making 7's interesting. This one has to be below 7, and 3 and 6 are already gone in the column. So this is 2, 4, or 5, and that makes this 2, 3, or 5. But those are possible. Now, how about this set down here? Oh, look, that's 8 or 4, and we've already got an 8 in the cage. Sorry, that's been available for a while. So that's 12. The other 2 add up to 16. There's 7 and 9. And that's reducing all our possibilities here. The quickest way to see this, those add up to 19, 29, 33, 40. These add up to 5, so they're 2 and 3. So these ones are 5, 8, 6. Sorry if these numbers are a little hard to see. That's all the browny red squares filled in now. And this column is now deducible because we've filled in numbers that add up to 15. These 4 add up to 22. That's 37. This becomes an 8 to make 45. 17. These 2 add up to 9. And that's 2, 3, or 5. So this is 7, 6, or 4. Can't be a 6 because there's 1 in the column already. So we'll get rid of that. That takes 3 and 4 out there. That's a 2, 5 pair now. But I don't actually know which way round. Now how about this? We've used a lot. 7 here between the 1 and 9. So 9, that could be 7. Or this could be a 3, 4 pair that add to 7. So 9's in one of those 2 cells. This is 7 or 3 or 4. This is 3 or 4 or 9. Not quite sure how that's going to resolve. How about this 22 clue? Yes, we've already got 11 there. So at least the next 2 cells must be included in 22. The 1 can't be this high because there's already a 1 in the box. 1 must be there. These must add up to 11, which immediately gives us the other one in the cage. We've had 4 and 7 in the row, in the column, but they could be 8, 3 or 6, 5. Now that 1, oh yes, look, this 1 has resolved the 9. Oh no, we didn't. Yes, the 1 here and the 1 here puts a 1 here, but I don't actually know which side of the 1 the 9 is going yet, I don't think. This 8 pair, it's either 2, 6 or 3, 5, and 2 of those numbers appear here, so it's either 6, 2 or 3, 5, like that. Now, this 12 clue, 1 here, 9 would have to be after either 2 cells or 3 cells. It can't be there because there's already a 9, so 9 is here. That makes this a 3, 4 pair, as we were imagining. That resolves this as a 7. This one's 2, that's 5. So we've got the star on top of the tree done, that's good. Just as this is either 3, 8 or 6, 5, so is this. And this one must be 6, 5 because there's an 8 in the box. So that's the 3, 8 pair. That resolves whether this is a 3 or a 4. This is a 2, last one in the column. This spot cage adds up to 15. That 2 means that this is a 5, 3 cage. 8, 3 there. This is now 6, 9, so we can get rid of that 9 possibility. 7 in the middle there and 6, 5 above it with 4 up here. Now we're not quite finished. This 12, that could be 8, 4 or 5, 7. There's already a 4 there, so that's 5, 7, and that does resolve this 5, 6 pair very quickly. This is a nice puzzle. I mean, it's working really prettily now. 5, 1, 8, 6, 3. Now, this 16 cage has either got a 5, so this would have to be adding up to 11, which could be 4, 7 or 2, 9, actually. If this was 6, this would have to add up to 10, 8, 2, 6, 4, 3, 7, 1, 9. That's not possible. This is a 5, and that's a 6. But this is either 2, 4, 2, 9 or 4, 7. Where can 3 go? We've got 3 here, the other 3's here. So now we get 4, 6 and 8 up here. This one must be the 4. This is either 6 or 8, as is that, but in this cage, which adds up to 22, 10, 14, that has to be 6 with a 2 here. That works nice. Looks like that confirms things we've done before. 8 here. I haven't even checked this 24 cage here, but the numbers outside it, yeah, they work fine. So 7 and 5 there, 3 there. Now I think we're finishing off almost. Yeah, that 33 cages down. Right, we've got 2, 4, 8 to fit in this row. 8 there. And those are 2 and 4. 6, 7, 9 above them. That must be 6. This is 7 or 9, as is this. This 17 clue in the sandwich. That's the one I'd forgotten. 4, 5, and 8. They make 17. So 9 goes there. There we go. And that should finish us off, I think. 4, 2... 4 and 8 to go in here. What a nice puzzle. I mean, that's really pretty. Thanks very much, Carlos. That's a really good Christmas card to get. Thank you for saying you like the channel. If you like the channel too, obviously feel free to subscribe. Do sponsor us on Patreon if you can. If you can't, God bless you and Merry Christmas anyway. Hope you enjoyed the puzzle, and hope to see you again soon. Thanks very much for watching, and have great holidays. See you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.